Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks, here to bring you your weekly flesh and blood market update. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, thumbs up, all those things. You know what to do. Hit that share button. That one's particularly good, apparently. Let other people know about my content if you find it useful and you think they might as well. Let's jump right into it. Not too much to talk about. Oh, one thing to plug. We are at 52 weeks on our podcast. We've been around a little bit longer just as a channel, but on our podcast, Tommy took a little while to convince me to bother doing a podcast, so we started doing it. It's been a year. As of this Sunday, in honor of that, we are giving away access to our Discord. You should be able to find a link in the description below. I did forget it last time. I will probably forget it this time. Just ping me in the comments because I do respond to the comments and I will get it in there. But yeah, free access to the Discord for the next couple of weeks, couple of days. I'm not sure. However, till the end of the year. So if you want access to that, just go to the description and you can jump in. We've had quite a few people join since the first announcement. I think it was last week. So yeah, the community's growing and it's great. We're in there. We're playing games. We're available. Chat. You can chat with us. Talk about market. Talk about the game, Flesh and Blood. Whatever you're doing. We have other stuff in there too. Other games. So whatever you're into. Come join us. Join us and be part of our community. Anyways, enough with the plugs. On to the data. All right. Interesting week. We got some spikes in the unlimited side of the market and some dips in the first edition market. So let's go through it. ARK, man, this has been a fun ride to watch. We are at 123 a box. I even pulled a little thing out last week. It was the day after I did the last post. I saw this and I was like, oh crap, I gotta put that in the update, at least mention it that it hit 123 at one point, so you guys knew about it, thinking that it would drop down by the time this market report came out. Guess what? It did not. It is still 123 a box for ARK Unlimited. That is crazy, up 19.42%. Wow. And one of our, I'm not sure if they were a subscriber, but definitely someone who commented on the last video, man, you're an ARK whale. I bet you're feeling pretty good right now because you made some definite profits at this point, at least on paper. I can't see this really changing. I mean, yeah, we'll have our dips and spikes and whatever, but I can't see this really changing because the supply is probably done. They're not going to reprint it as is. And the reason I think this is popular is because it's got popular classes, popular cards, and then on top of that, it is technically draftable. I don't know how many stores actually draft it though. That's the big mystery. If you run a store, or you know someone that runs a store, let me know in the comments because I'm curious if people are drafting this set. I think they just draft WTR because it's available for cheap, right? And it's a pretty good draft experience. Like, it's pretty reasonable starter experience. ARK, my feeling is that it's harder, right? Because the wizard cards are harder, just with what you have in there. It just doesn't draft as smoothly, I don't think. In my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, though, because I've only drafted it like once or twice. So if I'm wrong and this is an awesome draft experience and that's why the boxes are climbing, shops are trying to get a hold of them to do something other than WTR, then yeah, let me know in the comments. That might be the case. But my experience with it is that this is rougher draft than this. And if I'm a shop and I can make the same money drafting this or this, I have a higher margin here, right? So that's my thought process. But I could be wrong. Either way, loved characters in this set. Good cards, useful cards that are still in use today. So either way, there is market demand for it. I just don't know if it's a shop level market demand or individual collector / buyer. My guess is individuals, but I could be wrong. Anyways, moving on. Unlimited cases. Monarch is up 8.74% to $200. Nothing too surprising here. This is just that same band we've been in, back and forth, back and forth. It does look like it's tightening to the upside. You see this low is lower than this low. This high is lower than this high, but it's higher than this one. So you can see like an upward trend on the bottom and a not trend on the top, meaning there's volatility at what the ceiling is. So what that typically means is this is the less known factor. Sorry, the top is the less known factor, where the bottom is an upward rising floor. Basically, people are like, nah, I can't go lower, can't go lower, can't go lower. So it's an upward pressure, but then the top isn't really settled as to where that is. So that will change where we ultimately floor at the next stage. You know, when we talk about those step ladders, they'll change where the next bottom will be. But that's for the future. For now, MON is 199, expected to come back down. There's no reason to see this pattern change immediately. It will eventually, but in fact, this is a tightening flag. But it doesn't necessarily need to happen right now or any time in the near future. So no reason to get crazy on it. If you are trying to get MON before, you know, the next leg up, as it were, look for the next dip. That's when I would buy, because you probably only have a few more, if any, of these dips left before we find ourselves at a new plateau. Now, macroeconomics, everything else can make that different, but as of right now, that seems to be the smart way to play it. Of course, none of this is financial advice. Anyways, Tales of Aria up 10% to 241. This is back where it was historically. We had this dip down. We've had a few of these dip downs. I think we're still in a general downward pressure and downward trend. This is just kind of going back up to the top. And actually, you can see it, 244, 244, 244, and then 241. So this ceiling has weakened. And then the 219, 219, 219. We had a 209 back here. But basically, the floor is pretty stable. The ceiling has weakened. That feels like downward pressure, but it's hard to say. This is Tales of Aria Unlimited. There's an unknown amount of this out there, and there's still an unknown large amount of first edition out there. So it's one of those things where it doesn't fully make sense why people would do that. For the cases, maybe draft experience. Yeah, this is probably shop-based activity, right? Because people probably draft this Tales of Aria, and they do unlimited instead of first, which would make sense. As an individual collector, there's no reason not to just go ahead and buy a case of first edition, right? $40 more, and you get first edition cold foils, you know. But as a shop, yeah, actually this makes sense. So that's probably what it is. Anyways, moving on, honorable mention to ARC first edition boxes dropping 4.61% down to 1,034. That is really low for ARC, but we've seen it lower, I think. No, maybe not. Did we? I thought we saw it lower than this at one point. Let's see. Quick look. Nope. This is the lowest I have on record, because it definitely didn't go lower than that. Yeah, so this is the lowest on record. That's pretty interesting for a single box of ARC First Edition. If you want it for your shelf, this is the lowest I've seen. No reason to suspect it won't go lower, other than the fact that it's just running out of it. I'm just not sure how many people want these on their shelf or how that's getting, used through the system. Down to WTR First Edition case. It is down 19.99%, almost 20% to 9,600. That is crazy for a case of WTR. I am curious how many of these exist still in the world, because people have ripped WTR First a lot, or Alpha as it's also known. I did see Fluke and Box recently acquired a whole case, which is a first that I've seen someone actually say live that it was, they've acquired a case. I've heard of people getting boxes. I'm sure it's happened, but it's not very public knowledge. I'd love to know what he paid for it, and if it was around this price and that's why this got priced down. It would make sense. It wouldn't be surprising in this down market. People want to get rid of it, and if you have WTR from the very beginning in the case format, I mean, that's still a win, because there's no way you paid that much for it, right? So you're still making money on it, and that's kind of how those things get moved around, is the people who bought a ton in the beginning. I don't know where we are right now in this, like how many are out there or that sort of thing, and if this has further downward pressure. I would be a little surprised if it went lower, but not 100% surprised, just because, a lot of the first edition stuff seems to be in a downward trend overall. So anyways, moving on, MON, 9.94%, 326. Basically, nothing too surprising here. First edition MON, there's a ton of it. People are not really buying it so much, so the pressure is on the price to come down. And that's about it. Tales of Aria First is down 4.38% to 284. Not the lowest we've seen on this product, so still kind of bouncing around trying to figure out where it is. The supply is so high that it will be a while before that flushes out. And then that is it for our price update. So let's jump over to the cards. All right, let's see what we got here. So this is best selling right now. Oh yeah, sorry, just doing Dynasty for now. We're still checking Dynasty prices, checking trends here. We'll go to full market review probably in a few weeks. Trying to think, maybe yeah, we'll probably start that in the new year. I'm not sure exactly when, but sometime in the new year. So yeah, everything's about where it has been. Not a whole lot of movement. Still 35 for the surgical extraction. Everyone loves this card. I would say it's not really a supply problem anymore. It's got to be a demand thing at this point. We're well past the point where the market should be inundated with the product. So it's not a hey, it's all clustered in one area or whatever. Question is it could it be clustered like internationally, like at a specific set of countries or something? I don't know. I'm less and less of that opinion, and more of the opinion that it's just a really good card and people love it, because it is a really good card. I've had my face smashed with it more than once. Moving on, the Mechanoid is still popular, but actually I'm surprised this normal one's $30. That's pretty high for that. That is not the Marvel. Interesting. Well, the Marvel we know is very expensive, but I don't think I realized that this was climbing this whole time. It's kind of cool because I got one. Command and Conquer still at 500. Unfortunately, I will not be getting that at least anytime soon. Probably not at all. I just don't see myself spending $500 on the single card at this point. There's other things I have to focus my finances on, namely going to Egypt and buying stuff for that. Maybe post Egypt, which is in February, I'll feel comfortable spending that kind of money on a single card. I don't know, though. I mean, I like to have every Fable, and it would be nice to have it. Pretty important, way more important than this Emperor for me, but I'm still not sure, and I just don't see it coming down to that 200 range. Two to 300, I'll spend. Like, that's not a big deal. 500, I'm starting to say that's a lot in one card that could get damaged or, nicked, or maybe it has a nick in it already. You know what I mean? Like, and that reduces the value. It seems like it's a lot of money in one basket that I could put to better use elsewhere. Moving on. Let's see. We got the Marvel Emperor's back over 1,000. Everyone loves Azalea with this new bow, 143 for the Marvel version of that. This is 200 now, and I believe what were we looking at before? Yeah, it's been sitting in this range. Yeah, it was 150s before. Now it's 200. So it has climbed up quite a bit, which is sad. I do want that for my shelf. I may pull the trigger on that before too long because it seems like it's just climbing from here. And only 4 listed is pretty sweet. I hope I don't do the thing I did with the dragons, end up buying it and then be the highest buy. It wouldn't surprise me if I did, though. And these ones are starting to cool still. Actually, no, they're about stable. This is about where these were before the Hanabi Blaster. I think we had a spike very briefly up to 100, but they all came down right away. I think it was a buyout attempt, or maybe someone was just like, hey, I want to get my collection and be done with it, right? Your position, because we're in that post hype phase, right? Everyone's bored of these cards at this point, and so what's happening is the collectors are coming in, starting to pick stuff up, and you start to see these different behaviors happen in the market. All right, moving on. Oops, WTR. All right, this is unlimited. WTR, nothing special here. As we said, well, no, I didn't say, but the premium is still intact. Nothing really crazy on that. ARC. ARC, we do have an ARB opportunity. It's only $10, so it's not really worth doing anything about, but it does exist, and it is worth keeping an eye on how these play together, this case versus box price, right? Because while this volatility is happening, you can get crazy opportunities. This volatility to the next plateau is where that's your opportune moments to take advantage of situations where the market has this disbalance while supply and demand are trying to figure themselves out. So I'm keeping a close eye on ARC, which is why I checked that last Friday, because I was curious about the price and where things had moved, and definitely keeping an eye on this. May pick up another case of ARC. I'm not sure about that, but it seems not unreasonable. Crew, premium intact, nice and high. That's a great premium. I think that box prices are actually depressed, so I could be wrong on that, but that's my feeling. Monarch, we have an ARB opportunity of like $3, so nothing special there. Tales of Aria, this is all unlimited, by the way. A couple dollars on the ARB opportunity, nothing special there. And Everfest, there's no data. I know this. One of these days I'll remember. All right, first edition. Here's the drop off. You can see how stable. Volatility there. drop off? Can we predict another pattern similar? Are we going to get this like volatility spike and then it flattens at a lower level? Might happen. Might happen. Let's keep an eye on that. And then again, if you can get a case and sell the boxes, there's a real ARB opportunity here. That's now at $800. That is assuming you can sell these boxes. That's the problem. There's no real volume, so there's no liquidity for these. Honestly, if you got a case, personally, what I would do, I would just put the case on the shelf. Like, it will go up, and the case will be more than the boxes at some point. I don't think I'd crack it. Although the more you crack it, the higher those prices end up, right? Because there's less of them. So you never know. Maybe it's good for everyone else if you do that. Anyways, ARK cooling off. Got down to here and just chilling. And we have an ARB opportunity with this new box price of, that's pretty good. Like 260. That's actually pretty good. You can get a case of ARK and crack it. Again, liquidity issues with these first edition products. Anyone actually buying single boxes at those prices, I don't know. Maybe you can do what Fluke is doing and crack it on a per pack basis, like you buy a pack. So that's fun. People like to do that. I did that. I did that with Box Breakers. What's the guy on the West Coast with the beard? Shoot, I can't remember. He's one of Fluke's friends. Anyways, I was a subscriber and I did it with him. He goes, boom, that guy. He's awesome. I really enjoy his content. I can't remember his name. I apologize. Sorry. Monarch falling off a cliff like always, and slight ARB opportunity of $5. Not much there. I still think. Now, I just want to say this. I personally think that when this happens, it's gonna mess things up because there's this huge negative sentiment, and usually, and this is just general market advice here, or no, this is not market advice, this is general market observation here. When there is a big negative emotional tie to some particular product, stock, item, whatever, right, it usually overshoots by a lot, and it's because of the emotion involved, right? People are being irrational, and the market will be irrational much longer than you can be liquid, as they say. But those actually present really great opportunities eventually. Now, timing it is the really hard part. So you got to use as much data as you can. Obviously, we don't have a whole lot with Monarch, right? We know print sizes. We don't know what the demand side was, right? Because of the mismatch in information that even LSS had. If LSS didn't know, no way we're going to know easily. But if someone's out there, has some insights with distributors, understands where their volume's at, gets an idea on how much is actually out there, eventually there will be an opportunity where this is just way too low. It is a first edition product. It does have cold foils that have some value, right? There is some value to some of those cold foils. And it has an emotional attachment to it that is very negative. And so I think it's going to overshoot to the downside by a lot at some point. And then once people realize it, it's going to spike fast. But that's probably some time off. And again, no financial advice on this channel. Anyways, Tales of Aria dipping again. We've seen this again and again. Actually, this is pretty good that it's tightened. It's not crashing as far as it was before. We'll see where that is. First edition Tales, there's so much of it. I don't know. And then it does still have its premium intact. Let's get on to the new stuff. 2.0, what's happening? Everfest did its drop. Hey, we said this last week. We said, be back up, and then it'll just continue along on its path. This is post-map drop behavior. Still has $2 premium intact, so that's good and healthy, and as you would want and expect. Uprising, got the volatility. I will say, I was looking at this earlier. I think it was... What was it? Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't Uprising. Did we just do... What? Where's Dynasty? Oh no, my charts are broken. Anyways, Uprising. This is post-map 2.0. Oh man, that's really frustrating. Can I add to this? Let's see if I can do it right now. A23, 24. Boom, look at that. Did it. We did it live. All right, let's see if that worked. Dang it, It didn't work. All right. Well, I'll have to go back and edit. That's a shame. I mean, it's still on map, so there's nothing really exciting there. But I did want to point out, and I will go back and point out. Anyways, let's go through Uprising. Uprising, we had, we're still in an arbitrage opportunity, 76 to 79. Nothing worth talking about. We did have our down drop to map, but then this new spike up. I do see this coming back down to the map range because we are still early and there's still plenty of this product out there. So I don't see this as being a crazy situation. ARB opportunities typically happen when there's plenty of supply like this of the cases, and I think we have plenty of supply of the cases. Dynasty isn't working, which I didn't even realize last time. Again, doesn't really matter that much, but I did want to point this out. So Dynasty cases actually jumped back up, which is strange. Usually for these first weeks, it's all map. Now, the thing that's really strange is that for 3 weeks, it has been under map because that is map. And there's no way we're out of this first map range yet. So there's some volatility to the underside of map right now. I imagine it's holiday stuff. That's just how it goes, right? Extra supply. Everyone's trying to sell right before the end of the year. It's a thing in retail. And so it's probably just affecting these prices overall. But it's strange that it's there. So I got to add that chart. Maybe I forgot to. I thought I had it before though, but maybe I just never got around to adding it. But we'll look at that in the future. I didn't think it would be worthwhile because I thought it was just going to be a straight line the whole time. But we are going under map. That's worth keeping an eye on. So we'll add that to the next one, and we'll check it out there. As I said before, if you like the content, hit like, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I got wrong. Let me know about your buying experiences, collecting experiences. Really cool to hear about people having massive ARC Unlimited positions, which I wouldn't have said was a collectible thing, but clearly I was wrong. I mean, yeah, you can't argue with the price, right? So the data says it worked, and so if you're selling it and can sell it, which I think there is volume to sell it, then yeah, you can make some money on unlimited product, which you weren't supposed to be able to. But we always suspected that you would eventually because things go out of print, and that's how it is. Anyways, hope you guys are having fun, cracking packs, enjoying this hobby of ours, and I hope you have a happy holiday. And I don't think, will I see you before the new year? Yes, I'll see you next week. So happy holidays, and then we'll talk before the new year. All right, have a good one.